Hi, everyone. My name is Suzanne Wagner, and I'm a professional psychic and an author on intuition and psychic phenomena. I have classes on tarot, numerology, palmistry, channeling, relationships courses, and it is June of 2016, and I am doing my intuitive patterns astrologically for the month of June. There's a lot going on, and so bear with me, and I'll try and go through this and help it be understandable for everyone. So the question on everyone's mind is starting over in June. So as we move into June and how that's going to look and how the outcomes that we want in our life are going to be experienced. And so there's a lot of starting over. There's a lot of major changes. We've been dealing with a lot of retrogrades, and things have been kind of getting more and more intense. And even though some people, again, astrologically, depending on your chart, might be saying, wow, I'm feeling a ton of energy and motivation, there's a majority of people out there that are actually feeling like things and positions that they've been in are magnified under this June astrology, and that they probably need to pick very carefully what they're doing. So we are dealing with a lot of planets still in retrograde, and they are mucking up the patterns very personally for you. I am sure at this moment that you're wondering what the blank is going on, and I'm going to attempt to sort that out from my perspective. Pluto is still retrograde until the 26th of September, and that is making people's bad behaviors worse. You might feel like your negative self got out of the closet and is running through your internal and external home, messing with everything in your life. And it is. The question is, why are you doing some things? Why are you making certain choices? This aspect makes you take a hard look at your personal motivations in your choices and actions. Intent is very important, and yours is being questioned right now. You need to look below the surface of the conversation you have been telling yourself to make yourself feel better and get to the root motivation of your actions. And that look in the shadow mirror might not be as pleasant as you had hoped. Catching yourself in a lie or in an illusion is never fun, but it is essentially necessary for your forward progression. Saturn is retrograde until the 13th of August, and it's making you ask the question, what are you really willing to put time and effort into? More things are being dissolved away and broken down than actually building up at the moment, and most things feel as if you are in a storm that is messing up all the structure that you worked so hard to build up. And you would be right. But trying to clean up a storm's mess in the middle of the storm does not really make sense either. Yes, you are going to have to rebuild, and that is going to be fine when the storm is over, but you need to let the storm do the work and clear out what is no longer needed. Then afterwards, you're going to have to make a better assessment of the damage and figure out the next steps. Using brain power now is a waste of time and energy. Trust the flow. Neptune goes retrograde from the 13th of June until the 20th of November. And so you are going to have feelings that are going to get heightened. Your intuition is going to get heightened. Your spidey sense is going to get much louder. You want to take heed of that advice from your right brain and your intuitive self this month and begin to follow that flow rather than the analytical side of your mind, because if you don't, you might just have to go over the same place when Neptune goes direct in November. Mars is retrograde and has backed up into Scorpio, and this emotional roller coaster you feel you are on is a very real one, even when Mars goes direct on June 29th. You will really not feel better until August 2nd, when Mars finally going forward will leave the volatile and intense sign of Scorpio and go back into the mutable sign of Sagittarius. Though you will get a lot of internal work done here with the Mars and Scorpio, because, that's what it's all about. Mars in Sagittarius after August 2nd tends to let things slide. Sagittarius is a mutable sign, and as much as you might want to slide right now, it's not going to happen. And so it's more like the emotional pot is being stirred, and it's bringing everything that is still stuck on the bottom of your consciousness to the top of your awareness so that you can deal with it now. This June, the mutable T-square between Saturn in Sagittarius, Jupiter in Virgo, and Neptune in Pisces is going to occasionally and briefly become a mutable grand cross. My suggestion is to accept that you are losing grip with your old reality. That's just going to be how it feels. Yes, that old reality is crumbling right out from underneath you. And the faster you accept that, the better you are going to feel. We are prepping for the second square between Saturn in Sagittarius and Neptune in Pisces on June 17th. Saturn represents cold, old, hard reality, exacting time clocks, physical aging and death. Saturn is all about the structures that hold your life in place. But Neptune represents the unseen reality, time dimensions outside of your own, the continuation of life after death, and the dissolution of barriers between ourself and the unseen spiritual forces. As you can see, there are a lot of very different functions just with that much. And a square is like a tug of war between them, causing a lot of friction over what exactly is the reality. You can see in the news, everyone has an opinion, and the frustration is that no one is agreeing with each other, so nothing is getting handled, and that adds to the intensity that people are feeling. Saturn in Sagittarius wants a strong adherence to certain principles and ideologies. Neptune in Pisces wants those principles to be open-hearted, inclusive, and wants humanity to wake up and have us really see the big picture, not just our narrow, desired perspective. The key to get through this is to be fluid and open-hearted. Neptune trumps Saturn in size and gravitational mass. So as much as those old structures are going to fight for their very survival, they are going to have to change and bend to the will of humanity. The answer is in finding the fluid flow of Neptune. We are no longer in the Piscean age where rigid religious structures rule governments and people. We are in the Aquarian age, which is about a better balance with overview that makes sense for the greater whole, not just the rules of the past patterns. Know that what you believe is not the only way, and be willing to see things from another perspective. Be very wary of those who seem to have all the answers and act like know-it-all. This month, you are going to get emotionally geared up for action. There is a square between the Sun and Neptune on the 1st of June, and this can confuse your direction temporarily. You may have a hard time defining your actions and your goals, perhaps losing sight of reality and reason for now. This can be a time for increased spiritual awareness and imagination and inspiration. There might be moments when comprehending all this might actually be a bit difficult as your consciousness is opening to a new and previously unperceived reality. It can be difficult knowing where or how to direct your willpower under this influence. It will also be a challenge to know where you stand with others. Avoid such things as scheduling surgeries, important appointments, job interviews, or launches of new products at this time if possible. Venus will soon form a square with Neptune, and both bodies will oppose Saturn and square Jupiter, forming a grand cross from an ongoing T-square involving Saturn, Neptune, and Jupiter. The coming days call for adjustments of your expectations and can be a really big reality check for your life. June is an opportunity to connect with others, and there is a great need to be more attuned to others right now. The grand mutable cross at the end of May and into June is going to challenge what you think is reality. This is especially difficult from the falling in love perspective. Let's just say that what you think is true about someone new in your life is probably your fantasy and not the reality. So don't make decisions from the dating front while these aspects are twisting truth and fiction around in such a dramatic fashion. Your own enthusiasm of feeling the freedom that is happening can override your more common sense aspect. Remember that nothing is what it seems for probably the whole month of June. At the end of the first week of June, the Sun and Venus start to angle up to Uranus, which is the surprise planet, in the sign of Aries, which is the go-get-it sign of the zodiac. And this may create some changes in your plan or force you to deal with more spontaneous choices happening in your world. The ruler of Gemini and Virgo, where the Sun, Venus, and Jupiter are right now, is Mercury. And this is opposing a retreating Mars. The suggestion here is that there could be some tussles over money, assets, or differences in values. I expect a lot of direct political heated arguments, but know that this aspect is also, it can affect you personally. Thank goodness we have the charm of Venus to help you respond diplomatically, but even if you do your best, you might not be enough because Mercury is in the fixed and stubborn sign of Taurus, and Mars is in the volatile fixed sign of Scorpio. It's not very fun. This pattern is all about appropriateness. With that kind of intensity, it may not work, but at least it will be worth the effort in the long run. So kind of learning to stand up for what you believe in is important regardless. The second square between Saturn in Sagittarius and Neptune in Pisces is on the 17th of June, and this is where you know that you're going to need a plan of sorts and make it through all this chaos and confusion. This is designed to create a crisis to break free of limitations. It is time to use the knowledge that you have gained, but also you need to break free of old beliefs by dissolving them away and recognizing that they had value in the past to get you to this place, but now they do not have the value that they used to. It is time to move on, move forward, and embrace the new ways. It is time to find the harmony with your intellect and your flow. When these forces around knowing is heavily emphasized, you need to know and are not willing to trust the intuitive part of your nature. When you trust the unknown and intuitive pattern more than your cognitive side, you will be able to translate them into a real-world pattern. When there is too much structure, the needs of the people are not met in a spiritual and religious way. Religion, journalism, higher education, and sports are all going to be radically shifted. The old rules and patterns that are no longer important are blocking the flow, and they will have to shift in a big way. So I hope you have a wonderful June. Kind of take care of yourself, batten down the hatches, and I'll see you next month. Bye.